how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back as we wrap up hour number 2 of a Monday edition of Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz. I'm coming to you from the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance, to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida, on a lovely spring-like day. The sun is high in the sky. The temperature is warm to the mid-60s, going to a high of 79 today. Be in the high 70s most of the week, and then in the 80s towards the end of the week. That's what I'm talking about. Florida weather back. It's been a long winter. It's been like 3 months. And I know before you get started, Tom, there are people all over the country cold. Yeah, I live in Florida because I don't want to be cold. I understand they've had crazy things. I understand they've had crazy things happen during the winter in Chicago, everywhere. I understand that. Dallas, they've had weird weather. I understand that, but that's once in a generation, once in a lifetime. So while I feel for the people in Dallas, I live in Florida, so I don't have to deal with that kind of weather. It's just how it is. The trouble with kids these days, maybe the parents. That's right. You heard me say it. It may be the parents. How do you mean, Tom? How do you mean? Well, one in every 5 U.S. teens say they live with a hands-off adult who seldom sets rules and does little to monitor their behavior. Well, researchers at Columbia University did research, and their research shows that teens that have a hands-off parenting group are 4 times more likely to have sex, smoke, drink, or use drugs before the age of 18 than teens with hand-on parents. According to the study, it says moms and dads should be parents of their kids instead of pals or friends. Hands-off parents put their kids at risk for failing to monitor their activities or academic performance, fail to restrict TV, internet use, and gaming, fail to warn their kids against the use of drugs. Research estimates that more than 60% of U.S. teens live in hands-off households. 60%. Well, if 60% live in hands-off households, and they're 4 times more likely to have sex, smoke, drink, or use drugs before the age of 18, maybe a hands-on approach. Now, I'm not a parent, so I don't know. But research shows the parents that use the hands-off approach, they don't set rules, they do little to monitor behavior of their teenagers. Here's a news flash: lose control of those teenagers. Well, you think? I don't need a study to tell me that. Common sense tells me that if you allow a teenager to make decisions for themselves without discussion or input from the parents, teenagers are going to make teenage decisions, and most of the time those aren't very good. If I hadn't had my mom and my dad and family around me when I was 13, 14, 15, 16 that guided me towards the things I needed to do and put restrictions on the things that I couldn't do, I'd have just hung out with my buddies all night, and we'd have never went to school. We'd have just hung out drinking Mad Dog 2020. Because we were teenagers. Make stupid decisions. This study seems to prove that. 4 times more likely if you're a hands-off kid, if your parents didn't set any rules or monitor your behavior, 4 times more likely to have sex, smoke, drink, or use drugs before the age of 18. That's a problem. Parents need to be parents. Stop being best friends. You see I see it all the time, and a lot of it has to do with, I have a friend of mine she's in her middle 30s, she's late 30s, but she's got a daughter 17 because she had the daughter, and when I say late 30s, she had a daughter when she's 19, so I guess she's in her middle 30s, but her daughter's 17. They go out dancing together, and they go out and hit this and that. And when there's house parties at the house, the 17's got a little wine cooler going on or a little seltzer going on. She's not living with a mother. She lived with a best friend. Well, according to this study, she's 4 times more likely to fall into trouble. Tell my friend, she lives up in Georgia. I tell her all the time, you got to do something. Bring that child back under control. Oh, she's fine. We're best friends. You ought to hear some of the language I hear between those two when they're talking to each other. I'd have used that kind of language with my mom, I'd be dead now. But teenagers develop a lack of respect if a parent becomes a best friend instead of a parent. Tom, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have any kids. I was a kid. I know that if I'd have been left unchecked by parents with a hands-off approach, wow. We'd have made national news, me and my buddies. Some of the reasons we made the decisions we made because we were kind of frightened about the results that would happen if our parents found out. Because they were hands-on, brother. Hands on that belt, hands on that shoulder, hands on wearing you out. As you got older, hands on those car keys, you're staying home. As you got older, Nintendo in mom's closet, gone. What, you want to talk to little Mary on the telephone? Nope, no telephone, gone. And that was back when you had to actually pick up a telephone that was either on the wall or on a table in your home and dial a number. You heard a dial tone, then you dialed the number. You think get your cell phone taken away. Cell phones you have all the time. This was a phone. You only got to use the phone every so often. And then to have it taken away from you, that was punishment. That's a scary study, though. 4 out of 5. More likely to have sex, smoke, drink, and use drugs before the age of 18 if their parents take a handoff approach. Coming up next, hour number 3 of the show right here on WOCA The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.